Okay, so let's look at do and don't in the questions. So in the present simple tense that starts with be or an auxiliary verb, we don't swap the places. So if a sentence talks like she works in an office or in a factory, in a shop, she works in a building, she works from home, and this is the present tense, so she works, not worked, not working, it's does she work in an office. We just added does here. Does she work? Does she work? She works. Does, the S moves here. Does she work in an office? We don't say does she works in an office. It's does she work in a building. Does she work with me? With me. So in the present tense we add does. Does she work? Does he work? Does he talk? He talks to her. Does he talk to her? She walks. She walks across the field. Does she walk across the field? He, what they talk to the management. Do they talk to the management? Which we'll get onto that down here. Do they? Which is important to understand when we use do and does. But in the past simple, we start with did. They bought, again it's a past tense, they bought a new house. Did they buy? Bought turns into buy in the present tense. Did they buy a new house? Did they buy a new house? Did they? Did they buy a new house? Question mark. But we could also say, didn't they buy a new house? Didn't they buy a new house last year? Yesterday? Recently? Did they buy a new house today? Did they? Oh, did they? I never knew. Didn't they buy a house? Didn't. Very similar to don't. Didn't they? Didn't they? Didn't they go to Florida last year? I think so, yeah. Didn't they say that to us yesterday? So any past tense uses did. So did here, the past tense. Any past tense sentence uses did. Did he? Did she? Did they? Did we? Did it? Did London? Did England? Did America? Did you? Did I? Did it? Did this? Did this? Did this clean well? Does it clean well? Did this arrive quick? Did they deliver it quick? Yeah, very good. So look, we have do or does. Do or does. Do or does and did. So do with I, you, we, they. I, you, we, and they. Do I work, with the verb, in a factory? Yes, no, maybe. Does he, she, it, work in an office, in an office? Well, do you? Do you? Does he? Do you know whether he does work in an office? Do you know whether she doesn't? Don't and doesn't. Didn't? We had didn't, and now we have doesn't. Doesn't he work in an office? I'm not so sure. Doesn't it work? Doesn't it work anymore? Just about. A little bit. And then we have did. Did any subject. Did the city. Did the cleaners. Did you. Did they. Didn't. Don't and didn't. Didn't. Didn't you say that last night? Didn't you go there last year? Didn't you, verb go, go there last year? Didn't you go there last year? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Or yes, I did. When there's a did question, the answer is did as well. Did they? Did they go? Did they go to Mexico? Yes, they did. Did they clean the city? Yes, they did. And again, the answer is consistent to the question. Did and did. Does and does. Does he work in an office? Yes, he does. Or no, he doesn't. Doesn't. Did I go to Spain? Yes, I did. Or no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Do you, verb, speak English? English. Yes, you do, or no, you don't. Yes, if it's do you do you speak English? Do you speak English? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Or no, I don't. No, I don't. Do I speak French? Do I speak French? Do I speak French? Speak. Verb, speak French. No. No, I don't. Yeah, so the do, does and did is consistent in the answer as well. Very important to understand that. Does he work in an office? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Did they go last year? Yes, they did. No, they didn't. Do you speak English? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Very good. Very good. Okay. So remember again, if it's in the present tense, we simply add the does, do, did, or did, does, or do at the start. Does she work in an office? Does she work in an office? Did they buy? So the past simple is brought to the present. Did they buy? Did they bought a new house. Statement. Did they buy a new house? You wouldn't say does they, do they, or you could say do they. You could say do they, but it's a past tense question. They bought a house last year. Did they buy a house recently? Did they? You wouldn't say do they buy a house? It's did, because they bought. You bring it from the past tense, bring it to the present. Did they buy a new house? Bought turns into buy. They sold a new house. They sold an old house. Did they sell? Did they sell a house? Did they sell a house? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, they did. Again, did they sell a house? Yes, they did. Or no, they didn't. Did you sell a house? You sold a house. Did you sell a house? Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Very good. Very good stuff. Awesome. Yeah. But also, again, remember, in the present simple, the subject and the verb don't swap over. It isn't she works in an office. It's not work she in an office. Work she in an office. It's does. Understand that as well. The subject and verb don't swap. There's no swapping. They stay where they are. Does she work in an office? She works. And again, remember, the S is removed. It goes to does. Bring it into the present tense. She works in an office. Does she work in an office? Or in a factory in this case. Yeah, very good. Let's keep going.